Good afternoon, my brothers and sisters from wheresoever that you are watching me from. My name is Evangelist Musonda Nexton. I am so delighted even today to present to you a lecture which is entitled What is the Mark of the Beast? Part 3. I am glad to mention to you that we have run through the part 1 and 2, and now we are in the third part of the Mark of the Beast. And so there will be some part of information which we will be borrowing from these other lectures that we have looked at. And so I would encourage those that will feel like will not be understanding some of the points to visit these other lectures. We have posted them on the YouTube channel. They are there for you to view, brothers and sisters. In these previous lectures, we established some certain pillar points which we were able to agree with using the Bible. We said the Sabbath, the seventh day Sabbath, is the mark of God in the first lecture. In the second lecture, we established that for us to know the mark of the beast, we have to know the beast. But there are actually two beasts in Revelation chapter 13. So we look at the first beast which came from the waters. Meaning, when something comes from the waters, it comes from people. We read from Revelation that there is a certain, from Daniel rather, that chapter 7, that from the horns which the fourth beast had, there came another horn that removed the three horns. And then it came dominant. And then it started saying blasphemous words to God. You can check out those statements in Daniel chapter 7, verses 24 and 25. That is to tell us that when they say that it came from the altars, and then we established using the Bible that the altars is from people. And then this kingdom that talked of blasphemous things came from among the horns, meaning among the kingdoms, among the people. People will say, how do you know that this kingdom spoke blasphemy? It is there in Revelation chapter 13. It persecuted the saints. It fought against the saints for the period of 42 months. We are going to understand that period today, brothers and sisters, the period of 42 months. Let us prove these things that I've said about the altars. Revelation chapter 17, verse 15 says, Then he said to me, The altars which you saw where the hallowed sits are the people, multitudes, nations, and tongues. So when they say it came from the altars, when you read Revelation chapter 13, that says, Then I stood on the sands of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Rising out of the altars, out of the sea, meaning it came from the people. I've told you how this horn that has been mentioned in Daniel chapter 7 removed these other 3 horns to be dominant and rule over them. Perhaps you'd ask, let me also refer to it using the Bible. Revelation chapter 7 verse 20. And then the 10 horns that were on its head, and the other horn which came up, before which 3 fell, namely that horn which had eyes and a mouth which spoke pompous words, whose appearance was greater than his Pharaoh. Pompous word, blasphemous words. I told you that blasphemy, according to the Bible, is number 1, claiming to be equal with God. Number 2, a man claiming to forgive sins. You can read that in the book of John, where Christ, after healing a crippled by the pool of Bethsaida, telling him, say, Go, your sins have been forgiven thee. They said, How can you, being man, forgive sin? That is blasphemy. Yes, brothers and sisters. And after healing the blind, they also told him, say, they wanted to stone him actually. And then he asked them, why do you want to stone me? Is it for the good works that you want to stone me for? And then they said, it is not for the works that we are stoning you, but you, being man, make yourself equal with God. That is blasphemy. That is blasphemy, brothers and sisters. Also, I told you that we read in Thessalonians chapter 2 that this person makes himself equal with God and stays in the temple to be worshipped. I gave you some pictures here, and I'll repeat giving you, I'll beam them, that the names all referred to Christ can also be referred to Pope. In fact, they said he is Christ in the flesh. And so we were able to establish in our previous lecture that the kingdom of the Romans was the first beast. The kingdom of the Romans was the first beast. Let me look at something else again. Revelation chapter 13, verses 6 has these words. Then he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God. Remember blasphemy? To blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and those who dwell in heaven. And it was granted to him to war with the saints and to overcome them. And authority was given him of every tribe and tongue. All who were on the earth will worship him, whose names have not been written in the book of life, slain from the foundation of the world. Let us now go back to Revelation chapter 13, verse 5 on the top. And he was given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemers. And he was given authority to continue for 42 months. So mark the word 42 months. So this kingdom of the Romans was given power to rule for 42 months. Let us look in Revelation chapter 12, verse 6. It is saying, then the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared by God, that they should feed her they should feed her there 1,260 days. 1,260 days. 1260 days. I gave you the key of understanding the prophecy of Revelation chapter 13, that when you hear the word day, it means a year. That is Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 6, and Numbers chapter 14, verse 32. A day is equals to a year. So this means that it will to be fed for 1,260 years. Revelation chapter 11, verse 9 says, then those, first mark this number of 1,260 and 42 months. Mark them. Chapter 11, verse 9, Revelation says, then those from the people, tribe, and tongues and nation will see their dead bodies, and 3.5 days, and not allow their dead bodies to be buried into the grave. Mark this period again, 3.5 years. Let us look into Daniel. Daniel chapter 7, verse 25. It says, he shall speak pompous words. Remember, the beast in Revelation chapter 13 also has been, they have told us that even it shall speak pompous words. So this is to tell us that the beast in Revelation chapter 13 is the same beast in Revelation chapter 7, which was strange. I told you in the previous lecture, why it was referred to as being strange, it was because it had two powers. It had a political power and a religious power. That's why it was strange. The Romans started ruling the world in the period of 168 BC to 476 AD. This period, the Romans ruled as only having political power. But after this whole period, the Roman now started having another power of wanting to attain also the spiritual power of wanting to be in the temple, to be called or to be made equal with God. That is why when you read in Daniel chapter 7, there are some kingdoms that Daniel mentioned. No other kingdom, brothers and sisters, no other kingdom that existed has ever had this power to speak blasphemous words to God. Why? This kingdom focused much about ruling, not worshiping. So the Romans, when they came, they now took two kinds of power. They gained political power and they gained spiritual power. That is why nowadays the Roman Church is being referred to as the head of the Christian Church. I think that point has been properly established. Chapter 7, verse 25, Daniel. He shall speak pompous words against the Most High, and shall persecute the saints of the Most High, and shall intend to change times and law. Then the saints shall be given into his hand for a time, times, and a half time. Let us now properly look into these times. We have three periods. We have time, times, and a half time. We have 3.5 years. We have 42 months. We have 1,260 days. When will this period begin? Or when did this period begin? The same Daniel tells us in Daniel chapter 12, verse 7. Then I heard the man clothed in linen, who was above the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand to heaven, swore by him who lives forever, that it shall be for a time, times, and a half time, when the power of the whole people has been completely shattered, and all those things shall be finished. The power should be completely shattered. Time, times, and a half time. In Revelation chapter 7, verse 25, we read that the saints shall be given in his hand for time, times, and a half time. Meaning, after they have been given in his hands, the truth shall be completely shattered. What are these periods, brothers and sisters? We established to you that a day is equals to a year according to Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 6. So, when they say for a period of 1,260 days, they mean 1,260 years. All this period I've given you, brothers and sisters, it's talking about the persecution. The persecution of the saints. They shall be persecuted for time, times, and a half time. They shall be persecuted for 42 months according to Revelation chapter 13. They shall be persecuted for 42 months. This chapter only talks about these all numbers only talks about one thing. When they say for 42 months, we know, according to our calendar, that 42 months, each month has 30 days. And so when we multiply 30 days multiplied by 42, it shall give us, brothers and sisters, it shall give us 1,260. The same 1,260, brothers and sisters, which we found in Revelation chapter 12. What of 3.5 years, brothers and sisters? 3.5 years. 3.5 years. Each year, according to the regular numbering of days, has got 360 days. Each year has got 360 days according to the standard numbering of days in a year. So let's say each year, 3.5 years, let's multiply 3 by 360. So 3 multiplied by 360, it shall give us 1008 days. Now that half, the half of 360, brothers and sisters, is 180 plus 180. This same period gives us 1260 days. What of the period of time, times and a half time? When they say time in prophecy, it means a year. You can prove this by reading. You can prove this by reading Daniel chapter 4 verse 6 and verse 23, the same chapter 25 and 25, Revelation chapter 12 verse 6. You can prove it. So when they say time and times and a half time, a year and 2 years and a half year, which means 3.5 years, which we have established, brothers and sisters, which this kingdom was given power to rule. So when was this power, brothers and sisters? When was this power terminated? According to the history of the world, we established in the previous lecture that this kingdom came into authority in 538 AD after conquering the alien Ostrogoths, where the first tribe it conquered for it to have dominion. And so 538 AD marks the starting point of this period. So when we add 538 plus 1260, the period is 1798. So from the period of 538 AD to 1798 AD is what is referred to as the Dark Ages. What happened in this period? The book of Daniel told us that the truth shall be trampled. What was trampled, brothers and sisters? The truth. The system of worship was twisted. Instead of man going asking for forgiveness from God, man was obliged to go and ask for forgiveness and to be forgiven of sin by a fellow man, which we read as blasphemy. Instead, it is in this period, brothers and sisters, where the system was collapsed. Instead, baptizing a person who has believed with all his heart, according to what the Bible said, to receive Christ, they introduced infant baptism in this period, brothers and sisters. This is the period where the truth was trampled. From 538 AD to 1798 AD. But there is again an amazing thing which happened in this 1798. Listen, after the rise of this beast that came from the waters, there came another beast which came from the land. From the land. When they say the land, when they say a land, brothers and sisters, they mean unpopulated area. A less unpopulated, an area which has not been occupied by people. So this beast came from there. Now, let us read in the same book which we are looking at, Revelation chapter 13, to see what is this beast that came into power in 1798. Listen to this scripture, brothers and sisters. Revelation chapter 13, verse 11. Then I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon. Coming from the earth. I told you that beasts, according to Daniel chapter 7, are the kingdoms. Kingdoms, brothers and sisters. Kingdoms. So this kingdom, which came into power after this kingdom has finished its part, in verse 11, came from a less populated area, and it had two horns. It looked like a lamb. Let us read this historical statement, brothers and sisters. The New World compared with the Old World, page 462. A European journal in 1850 spoke of the United States as a wonderful emperor emerging and amid of the silence of the earth, daily adding to its power and pride. And this is evident, brothers and sisters, that America got its independence in 1776. And so, in these periods, up to into which it raised into power, it can give us up to the period of 1798 for it just to raise into power. We are told that America was formed by people who moved away, who sought refuge from the persecution of this same beast that we have looked at in this same period of 1,260 days. Let us try to prove these words. Listen to this, brothers and sisters. Edward Everett, in an oration on the Pilgrim founders of this nation, America, said, "Did they look for a retired spot, inoffensive from its obscurity, safe in its remoteness, from the haunts of the despots, where the little church of Leyden might enjoy freedom of conscience? Behold the mighty religion over which in peaceful conquest they have borne the banners of the cross." Brothers and sisters, when America was established, had a rule that anyone has the light of conscience to worship whatsoever he can worship. America separated the state from the churches. What led the killing of many people in the Dark Ages in this period that I've given you is because the Romans, as I said, had two powers. They had political power and religious power. And so they were able to control whatsoever that concerns people. But when America came in, said the state and the church should be separated. Should be separated. That is in the period of 1798. This is to tell you and me, brothers and sisters, that the beast of Revelation chapter 13 verses 11 is America. Yes, this points direct to America because this grew from a very hard ground, from an unpopulated area, from the land which was not populated before. That's where it grew. That's where it grew, brothers and sisters. Read the history of America, the formation of America. It was formed as a Christian nation. That is why it is called a Protestant nation, because it was protesting, brothers and sisters, from the persecution which was happened by the Roman Church, by the Romans. Amongst the people whose death was pronounced by the bishops of Rome, I gave you Jerome and John Huss. I gave you Beckwin. You can search from the literatures of the old literatures, you'll find that information. So, Revelation chapter 13 verses 11 introduces us to a new beast. What does this beast do? This beast, according to Revelation, chapter 13, verse 12 says, verse 11, it shall speak as a dragon. Meaning, in this times that were heading, brothers and sisters, America that once spoke as the lamb, that once looked as a lamb, to stop the persecution which was going on, shall speak like a dragon. In what sense, brothers and sisters? In what sense? It spoke as a lamb in separating the politics and religious part. But when you read in Revelation chapter 13, verse 12, you hear that, and he exercised all authority of the first beast in his presence, and causes the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Whose deadly wound was healed. What does it mean for this deadly wound of the beast to be healed? After the period of 1798, the bishop of the Roman, the Pope, was caught and put into the prison by a ruler, by then the ruler of France, and he died in prison. But in 1929, that is when they returned into his power. In this period, meaning he was dead, he had a deadly wound. And after 1929, the deadly wound was healed. Listen to this. Let us go into verses 9, Revelation chapter 13. If anyone has an ear, let him hear. He who leads into captivity shall go into captivity. He who kills with a sword must be killed with a sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. He who leads into captivity. The leaders of the Romans led people into captivity, and so their leader was led by Mussolini. Yes, I'm sure that's the correct name, by Mussolini, into captivity, and later died in that. But the wound was healed, brothers and sisters. The wound has been healed. And so America was given all authority, will be given all authority of the first beast. And for sure, as we look now, brothers and sisters, America has got the authority. America has an impact on the world. Economically, America has an influence on the world. Whatsoever statement that is proclaimed by the leaders of America should caught attention of every country, brothers and sisters. And he performs great signs, so that he even make fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. He deceives those who dwell on the earth by the signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded. An image to the beast. Listen to this point, my brothers and sisters. The beast, the actual beast of Revelation chapter 13, the previous one, to whom the image was made by the second beast, had two kinds of characters. It had political character, to rule as a politician, and to rule as a priest. And so, this image that the Bible says to be formed is a mixture, is literally a mixture of religious and politics. Meaning, America shall grant power again, or shall now mix together the same thing which he said at first to separate. He shall now mix together the kind of rule, the political rule and religious rule. And you recently heard the statement by the current president of America, that we want to tighten out the relationship with the Catholic Church, the church. This is what it means for the second beast to speak like a dragon. I want to tell you that even what led to the death of Jesus Christ was combining the politics, the politician, the ethelu, and the religious leader. Yes, the religious leaders teamed up with the political leaders, the Pilates, and the Caiaphas. Caiaphas was the high priest. He took Jesus to the government. Meaning, religious and politics were mixed. It will make an image to the beast. So I want to tell you that in this world where we are aging, brothers and sisters, what we are going to see in this world now, we shall see the kingdoms of the world, we shall see the governments of the world bonding together with the religious leaders. When you see these things, brothers and sisters, he that has an ear, he that leadeth, let him discern the times, because the time of his coming is near. The image of the beast is what will lead us to the introduction of the mark of the beast. Listen to this statement. Okay, I'll give you this statement as we go by. Yes. The image, let us read it. And he deceives those who dwell on earth by the signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. He made it speak. Who made the image of who made this image speak? It was the Americans. The Americans having political power and the Romans having religious power, bonding together, making an image. Whosoever that will not worship this image shall be killed. I am not preaching about fables, brothers and sisters. I'm not preaching about fables. And then verse 16 says, he causes all both small and great and rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand and on their forehead. To receive a mark. The first beast is the Romans. The second beast is America. The image of the beast is the church and state. Let me look at this, brothers and sisters. Let us read this. Revelation chapter 17 verse 3 says, so he carried me away in spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman. By the way, a woman in prophecy refers to the church. Yes. When you read Ephesians chapter 5 verse 25, you find those words. A woman is referred to as a church. A virgin is referred to as a pure church. And harlot woman is referred to as a idolatry church. A church that blends the worldly things and godly things, putting them together. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast. A beast is the kingdom, meaning the church sitting on the kingdom, meaning the church controlling the states. When you see the kingdoms paying homage to the beasts, which we say were the Romans, know that this scripture is being fulfilled, brothers and sisters. Scarlet. Church and state. What is now the mark of the beast? we have said the first beast is the Romans, the second is America. The image of the beast is the human controlling the beast. Imagine a human seated on the fierce beast controlling, the church controlling the states. This is where it is leading us, brothers and sisters. Be alert for the fourth part of lecture, where we will look at now the mark of the beast. This now mark, because we have established everything that I wanted you to know. You have known the image of the beast. You have known the second beast, which was America. The first beast, which is the Roman kingdom. Subscribe to the channel. Let us spread this gospel, the three angels gospel, brothers and sisters, as we invite everyone around the world to become a disciple of Christ. May God bless you in this afternoon.
Ushemune wala imini nangefya imini neshadiriki misheki Abednego ila bengi bafukamine chilubi bena bakenyo kuchifukamina batilele sala tupususha nanguta tupuswishe tatwa pepe kuchilubi nefwebenelelo tukwate isubilo nanguta twafwilelelwa katwafa lesambuma namusasa ala twaililo kubanilesa nangu atususheto tufuswishe ala twaililo kubanilesa nangu atwafile ena akatwaililo kubanilesa lesamumachunamusasa ala twaililo kubanilesa nangu atususheto tufuswishe ala twaililo kubanilesa nangu atwafile ena akatwaililo kubanilesa lesa amonekele munindiankalamu na mumulilo alimonekele ena alasangwa na mumachusho ya kalamba pantu abamupepyukupususha alabane fwe mushita shonse nelote titumone kumeso ya kumubili pantubulwi wa kumupashi lesambuma namusasa ala twaililo kubanilesa nangu atususheto tufuswishe ala twaililo kubanilesa nangu atwafile ena akatwaililo kubanilesa lesamumachunamusasa ala twaililo kubanilesa nangu atususheto tufuswishe ala twaililo kubanilesa nangu atwatwelena teklofile ena akatwa lililokubalilesa nangu atwatwelena teklofile ena akatwa lililokubalilesa nangu atwatwelena teklofile ena akatwa lililokubalilesa nangu